Today we're going to talk about the different types of names you have. And as you read in your name report, we do describe your first name, we describe your last name or surname, your combined names, and as well your business signature. And depending on where the name is, has a very different bearing on your personality and your life. So the first name is your individual personal nature. And when you think about it, when you were first born and your mother was, rocking you back and forth, they were calling you by your first name. They would call you, "Hi there, Ross. Hello, Ross." They're not calling you Ross Brown. They're not using your surname when they're talking to you. They're calling you by your first name. And so the first name becomes your personal nature. It's your personal characteristics. It's, how you interact with life. It's your personality. And so the first name is a very strong influence. And again, if your name is shortened or nicknamed, that will give another shading. But your first legal name is a very important quality, and your most used name is a very important quality because it defines your personal nature. Then we come to this last name, which is your surname, and so that's the family influence. And so that takes the hereditary background, and it's the overall influence for everybody in the family. It describes the general characteristics of the family, what things they're generally attracted to. And then you have your combined name, which is your first name and last name together. And that's the overall influence in your life. It's used to calculate your destiny or the overall conditions you attract. So it's a very important influence. And so quite often that happens is people can have a first name which is quite balanced. And then they have a last name which isn't balanced. And then the combined name isn't balanced either. And it's very similar to going to a piano. You can play one chord of harmonious music with one hand. You can take your right hand, play another chord, that can be harmonious. But when you put them both together, there's a real discordancy. And that often happens with people's names. They can have a strong first name, a strong last name. But then when you combine them together, it's very discordant. That we tell people when they go onto our website and they're looking at first names, that you can't think of the first name in isolation. Yes, it's your personal nature, but what surname, what last name you attach to it is very, very important. And especially with youngsters, with a newborn, don't pick a first name based on just that description, because if your surname isn't compatible with that name, you can create even more problems. And then the fourth factor is what we call the business signature. And this is what you sign when you're signing legal documents. It's not how you sign it, whether it's a crazy doctor's signature, but what it is what are the letters used in that signature. And a lot of people, let's say this fictitious Ross Brown, he might sign R. Brown. Well, that could be a very different influence than Ross Brown. And so a lot of people, they have a fairly balanced name, but then they have a business signature which does not draw them into good situations. And that business signature becomes a creative factor in your business and financial life. So it is important when you're going to take a balanced name that the first name works with the last name, is balanced as a combined name, and then to use the proper business signature so the balance isn't disturbed or thrown off by having one name which is out of balance. And it's the same thing, let's say driving a car. You could get tires and you could balance 3 of the tires, which is great, but if that 4th tire isn't balanced, you're not going to get the proper performance. So all 4 have to be balanced. So that's why your first name, your last name, the combined name, and your business signature all have to be balanced so that it is truly a balanced name. So thank you for listening in. We hope you find it interesting. And again, remember, change your name and you can change your life. Call us today and speak to one of our name specialists to find out more about your current names and how you can upgrade your life with a balanced name.